Wu got her start in public service interning at City Hall under Mayor Tom Menino while studying at Harvard Law School. She is alumna of the Rapport Fellows Program in Law and Public Policy. She is the recipient of the Massachusetts Democratic Party Franklin Eleanor Roosevelt Award and was named one of the Boston Globe's Bostonians of the Year. Woo! As mayor, she's working in coalitions to deliver bold, systemic change and make Boston a city for everyone. Thank you for being the world's best mayor, and welcome to Simmons, Mayor Wu.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam President, for the very generous introduction. I was hoping if I ran up here, it would be shortened. Thank you so much, and it's an honor always. Thank you for your leadership and all that you are doing to ensure that the mission, the history of this incredible institution continues to have as far-reaching impact as possible. What I love about the Simmons logo that you can see here is that on this image of a tree, it shows the part that we often don't see, but is the most important part, the roots that go deep. And Boston is a city in some ways where our roots are complex. They are intertwined on so many different issues. And if we can make sure that we are giving the soil and nutrients and passing this on so that every resident and every generation can be rooted, that's all we need for the branches and the blossoms to thrive as well. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Women's History Month. And thank you for continuing to grow this event. To the event organizers, the planning committee, the visionary founding mothers we are honoring, and all of those who volunteered your time and resources and energy. This is a bigger turnout than I've ever seen in my time, just in the last slice of history of this event. And I hear that there was almost as big, or if not bigger, a group on the waiting list for the sold out event because of the interest and the importance now more than ever of our solidarity and sisterhood. I was reflecting on what it means to be a mom in this role. And I think there was a situation that happened earlier this week that, again, wasn't visible and seen, but might be a good representation of what working moms everywhere have to also be doing to do the whole rest of their job that the public does see. I was at home to do a Zoom live-streamed news interview for an hour while my husband was supposed to be getting both the kids off to school and getting the day started on that end. And then after that time, I was gonna, I had a bunch of events throughout the day, but they were closer to home. So rather than go all the way to City Hall, then back, I was doing that from home. So I'm on my Zoom, I'm halfway through answering questions about all the current events happening in the city. And then the door to the office opens. Someone scampers in and then just runs right under the desk. And I'm trying to, keep answering questions, hope that the sound didn't carry through. He's at least being quiet. But my 6-year-old, I'm looking at the clock on the computer. It's past school time at this point. I don't know why he's still in the house, much less under this desk that I have a live interview coming out from. So I'm trying to figure this out. I'm listening. There's no noise in the rest of the house. I don't know what's happening. So I find a piece of paper that's under the view of the video, and I grab it. I'm writing a note to him, "Go find your dad." I give it to him. He then furiously scribbles and then passes me back a note that says, "No, I want to talk to you." You is all capitalized, so he's, good communicator, even at 6 years old. And then at that point, I said, "Okay, you have to wait. I'm almost done." I pass it back, and in my mind, I'm still going. I'm talking about the schools and this and that. And I'm like, I wonder if any other mayor in this role ever had to be passing notes with a young child during a news interview before. And everything, I didn't even I should actually go back and tell this journalist what happened. I didn't even share exactly what was going on under the table. And it turns out that he had had a big fight with his brother that morning. There were 2 Lego things. Each one had one. They were going to share and work on one together, but his brother woke up early and finished that one without him. And he could not talk to dad about it for whatever reason. So we got it sorted out. My husband came back and ended up taking him to school. But it's just, by the time you get out the door, you've already had a full day as a working mom. So, in some ways, I feel so blessed and privileged that I can talk about my struggle as a working mom with also a sense of joy and a sense of levity, right? Because there are working moms and women in all other parts of the country whose struggles are very different and much deeper than the ones in Massachusetts, given our policies, given our leadership. And there are women whose struggles in terms of the economic pressures that we are still seeing from the pandemic, the transportation access that is far from what is deserved, the housing crisis that we are living with, the lack of affordable and accessible childcare. It makes it so that getting out the door is the triumph of survival. And so in the 26 years that this event has been taking place, we have seen Boston's landscape and Boston's policies grow and evolve from long before I or any women of color served on the Boston City Council when this breakfast first started, to 2009, when then Councilor Ayanna Pressley was elected as the first ever woman of color to serve on the Boston City Council, to when I joined that body in 2013, in that election year where we doubled the number of women serving from 1 to 2. And now to be where we are, to still recognize that we have a long ways to go, but that our progress and our continued representation, action, policymaking, and shattering of those ceilings is impactful not just for our residents, who very much feel the urgency of all the challenges that we're discussing, but it's relevant for the rest of the country in this moment. I don't know if anyone, I kind of forced myself to make sure I would watch not only the State of the Union last night, but also the rebuttal that happened afterwards. Okay, some folks watched it too, I see. And to see basic rights, basic, just being a human in control of your own body is on the ballot. And it's being decided by elected officials, by judges, by talking heads who have no idea what they're talking about. Men who have a theoretical sort of, I don't know, I won't bring up The Handmaid's Tale or things like that, but who are taking action based on a fiction of control in their heads. And that is playing out in our real lives every day. So in Boston, we take this work seriously, that it's not just for what we need to do to continue being right at the forefront of showing what progress looks like and what equity and inclusion and leadership looks like for ourselves to keep moving forward. But it's important for the rest of the country that our progress continues to move as well. I'm here only because of an incredible team in City Hall that makes it possible. I want to shout out some of our folks who are here. Our Chief of Equity and Inclusion, Mariangeli Solis Cervera. Our Director of Cultural Affairs, Alexandra Valdez. From our Office of Women's Advancement, Haley Smith and Emma Staff. I'm told our Roxbury Neighborhood Liaison is in the house, Asha Janae. And just alongside City Councilor Ruthie Louis-Jean, State Representative Sam Montano, and all those who are in public service right now in a very complicated moment, I'm so grateful to have the chance to serve this city and this community, where we have leaders like Karen Holmes Ward, Katrina Kincaid, folks who, on top of their jobs and the hats that they wear in their day jobs, take the time to be at every impactful community event, to be visible, to be present, to be rooted right alongside us. Thank you so much. It's changed the landscape in Boston. To the other panelists as well, Ms. Celia, who for well over a decade now has been making sure that women of color are in the conversation and leading the conversation. Thank you for your leadership. And I got to meet Avery today too, a competitive power lifter who sets the mold for what leadership looks like and how to continue breaking all of the ceilings that still exist. Anyway, lots of folks I want to shout out here, but I will just make a quick report on some of what we're doing in terms of the policies that we've been working on very recently. In partnership with Mass Now, our Office of Women's Advancement has launched a pilot program to provide menstrual products at 6 Boston Public Library branches across the city. We've installed 2 SOS vending machines at City Hall, so anyone can come by and pick up a pair of pads or tampons absolutely free and right in City Hall. Women's Advancement also joined forces with our Office of Returning Citizens to advocate alongside Mass Now for the I Am bill, which would require all schools, shelters, and houses of correction to provide free menstrual products. Last month, we awarded a $50,000 grant to Neighborhood Birth Center, the first of its kind in the city, to support group-based perinatal care. This center, based in Nubian Square, will provide a comfortable, home-like environment for residents to welcome their newest family members in the world. And what I can say are some of the most stressful moments in your life. To have that support, to have it based in community, is going to be life-changing, generationally life-changing. And I focus a little bit on our Office of Women's Advancement because they often don't get the credit for the work they're doing on all fronts, whether it is on these legislative efforts, on the efforts to ensure menstrual equity and access, on the efforts for pay equity and gender parity. But know that everything that we're doing in the city, our housing office, our transportation department, our Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, we know that when we lift up women in the city, we lift up everyone in our community. And that is particularly true for our women of color, for our immigrant families, for single working moms. And so thank you so much for knowing the complexity, the beauty, the resilience, sometimes unwanted, constant resilience, and the urgency of being a woman today in this world. We need all of you, and it's exhausting that all of you is asked for every single day in all facets of our society. But you are the foundation for all of the progress that we're continuing to make, and I'm so honored to be able to make it alongside you. Congratulations, and thank you to everyone.